My 5 favorite flowers to grow for a cut flower garden that are super friendly for beginners and grow super well and easily. And so let's get into it. If you're new here, my name is Melissa. I'm so glad you stopped by. I talk about all things flower farming, DIYs, slow living, and things like that. So if those interest you, be sure to stick around. Our 5 flowers are super easy to grow. Like, you kind of can't go wrong with these, at least in my experience, and I've definitely seen that with other people as well. Now, something I should mention about all of these is you can either grow these from seed, or if you don't have that option, you can literally just go to a greenhouse near you and look for these varieties, and that's super easy too. Of course, it costs more, but if that's the only option you have right now, you're better off starting there than not growing any at all. First up are zinnias. Zinnias are one of the easiest to grow flowers you could possibly imagine. The soil quality doesn't even have to be good. You can kind of just plant them anywhere and they will grow. That is what makes it so beginner friendly, and they come in endless color options and shapes, and so no matter what style you have, you will find something you'll love. Some of my favorites are the Queen Lime series and cactus zinnias, but like I said, you can literally find endless options. So go ahead and look around and find the ones you like. Not only are they easy to grow, but they produce an enormous amount of flowers just from one plant. So you don't need to plant like a whole field of them to think you'll get enough. Like, you could literally plant 6 and you'll get a decent amount of flowers just from that. Next up, we have cosmos. Cosmos are so stunning. They're so delicate and light. The only downside is they do not have a great vase life, so you have to learn which stage to pick them at. But besides that, they are a super easy to grow flower. They are just so delicate and pretty, and they flow in the wind. There are also endless color options for these too. 2 of my favorites are apricota and Japanese Cairo. Our third flower is going to be sunflowers. They are so simple. Like, it's, again, you could just stick it anywhere and it's gonna grow. And sunflowers are just so fun because you just plant it and it's just like, boom, you know what I mean? They just like grow so easy and they're just so pretty and they're perfect focal flower. The great thing about sunflowers too is there are so many varieties. If you want the bigger ones, you can do branching. If you want pollenless, which are the common variety that florists use, you can also buy those. Those are usually single stem, which means you only get 1 flower per seed. But they are stunning flowers, so easy to grow, and they are a necessary piece to a beginner garden. Our 4th flower are snapdragons. Snapdragons are actually so simple to grow. The hardest part with them is handling the tiny, tiny seeds. And once you get past that, they just grow and they are fabulous. You can of course just buy them at the greenhouse, so you can skip the hard part. Once again, they come in endless color options and different heights, all depending on what you want to use them for. I have not grown a ton of different varieties of snapdragons, but this year I am growing the Sunrise Mix from Johnny's and Potomac Apple Blossom. The last variety I'm going to talk about today for your cut flower garden are Rudbeckia. Rudbeckia also are known as Black-Eyed Susans. They also come in various shapes, sizes, and colors. Primarily they're that orangey yellow kind of mango color, but there are others you can pick from. I grow traditional Black-Eyed Susans and also Rudbeckia triloba. These are super simple to seed, or of course you can buy them, whichever one works for you. And then they just kind of grow and grow. And the great part about these is they reseed themselves every year. So you're going to want to put them in a spot that's a designated patch for them because they just grow like insane. So last year I probably had about maybe 15 plants. This year the ground is literally covered in tiny little seedlings. So they just keep coming, and that's great too. That wraps up this part of the video. Now we're gonna get into my little seedling update. My seedlings are coming along really well. I started my earliest ones a couple months ago now, and those are getting really big. And then just yesterday, I finished the last of my zinnias. I wanted to take a minute to mention my Etsy shop. I mentioned that I might be opening one, and I did. It is jewelry that I've handmade, and I also am going to have some other items on there as well that are all handmade by me. So if you want to check that out, I'd really appreciate it. I make very delicate, simple jewelry. Some things have very nature themes to them. This necklace I'm wearing, I actually made. As you can see, it's very delicate and just has the little shell. So if that's your style, I'd love for you to check it out. And now for my seedling update. There is a lot going on here, obviously. Some of these are not mine, some of these are my mom's, but I'll go through the ones that are mine and just kind of talk about how each one's going and stuff like that. Here we have some of my first ones I ever planted. We've got lupins, Rudbeckia triloba, and blue salvia. They're all doing like super well. The lupins are the cutest little things. I can't even. So the Rudbeckia triloba, as I mentioned, of course, are so easy to grow. These have been growing for like a couple months now, and they're doing so well. They'll honestly be going in the ground in like a few weeks, so I'm really excited. And my yarrow is turning into a little forest right here. I grew a mix this year, so I've got yarrow, foxglove, a couple random peppers, more lupins, and celosia. I learned from my mistakes. So celosia, at least this kind, is super sensitive to the sun, so I'm trying to harden off everything now outside, and they get burnt so easily that they can only be outside for like 30 minutes at a time and slowly building up. And so these need to be out there, whereas these don't. So I learned the hard way that I should have put them all in one tray. I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but whatever. I'm gonna switch the view now so you can just get a view of the trays better. This one has mountain mint and feverfew, and then just a few random stock I threw in there because I had an extra row. These are not doing all right, they're doing fine. They're just going super slow, and I realized I should have planted my feverfew much sooner than I did, but hey, at least I know for next year. This one are some things I planted a little bit later. I've got more foxglove stock, more lupins, more celosia, and then over there is Cresspedia. Those are coming along good too. I actually should have planted those celosia sooner, but once again, you learn as you go. I literally have so many, I'm overwhelmed. Some of them aren't up yet, but I'll go over those too. I'm not going to show every single tray, but I planted all of my cosmos, zinnias, and this is actually a type of basil. All of those I planted just last week, or just a few days ago, honestly, and they are doing literally amazing. I put these directly outside from the moment they came up, and you can tell it is just making them grow amazing. Like, the germination rate on these things is absolutely insane. I'm growing so many cosmos this year, it's probably too much. And here I have more cosmos, and then here we have a bunch of things. So this is a huge chunk of my stock. There's gomphrena, more celosia back there. And then this whole thing is, all these are snapdragons. And then that's more celosia and some more stock. Here is an entire tray of snapdragons. These are growing so fast, I really can't get over it. And they're just like growing really well this year. So I'm really happy with that. Here I have my loofah gourds and the one dahlia cutting that I successfully did. That's a whole nother story for another time. These are zinnias from that same tray. I'm so excited about these. I saved these seeds because they were a big seller for me and I love them so much, and I could not find them anywhere. So I've had really bad luck with saving seeds before, even when I did it exactly the way that you're told to. And so I am so glad some of them are actually coming up. And lastly, this is the rest of my zinnias and cosmos that I just planted, so those are not up yet. And then I have some of my ornamental grasses in there. That is going to wrap up today's video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something and that you get to grow some of the flowers we talked about today. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments and I'll try to get back to them. And don't forget to check out my Instagram and to subscribe. And my Etsy shop is also linked in the bio. I hope you guys have the best spring, and I'll talk to you sometime in my next video. Bye.